Hello. Here we are for Final Fantasy VII Part 2. Um, for this part, we should be able to get out of Midgar. We don't actually have a whole lot of Midgar left. A decent chunk. The Shinra building does take a while, usually. But it is basically the train graveyard, the pillar collapsing scene, and the Shinra building that we have left for that section of the game, which is a substantial kind of, I guess you could call Midgar the introductory section of the game. Um, and after that, we get out into the wider world. So we'll see what the time looks like when we get out of Midgar. Maybe we'll carry on. There's a long flashback sequence in Calm Town once we get out of the city, and then we go through the Mithril mine on the way to Junon. So we'll see how far we get, basically. But we should, at the very least, be able to get out of Midgar at this point. Um, so it's been about a week since I last played this file, so double check. I do need to pick up some extra materia at some point, but we do have steel on Tifa. Um, and I think we have restore and fire on Eris, and Cloud just has lightning, and again, it'll probably actually end up being flipped from him eventually, but the cover ability we put on him, and I think that's all the materia I have at this point, so yeah, we do need to pick up some more fairly soon. Camera situated here too. The light on. There we go. That's better. Okay. Is that our first high potion? This is a little bit of a maze. Graveyard sequence. It's not too bad. But if you want to get all the items, you special turns like that. There is also, I think, I forget what it's called, but I think it's the chariot-looking enemy. If you see one of those, that has striking staff with the weapon for Aaron and steel. Um, I forgot how these ghosts have this annoying thing where they fade out when you physically attack them. Um, so yeah, the striking staff, it's not a huge priority that we have like want to make sure we absolutely get because Varys isn't specifically a physical fighter, but I know I am actually attacking with her on this fight, but it's not her forte to say the least. And he to steal something. But yeah, again, if we do get that striking staff, it's certainly not a bad thing either. So we'll see if we can get it. If we don't, it's fine. Once we get to the Shinra building, one of the soldiers there has the hard edge sword for Cloud, and we almost definitely want to try to get that because the hard edge is actually better than a lot of the next several weapons that Cloud can get. Um, so yeah, that's actually even more of a priority. All right, here. Down. Is there a barrel all the way down here? No. But we got attacked. That was Cloud's cover ability going off there. Nice critical hit from Tifa there. On that Cloud, his second tier 1 limit break, cross slash. Um, actually, since we're not in battle, I'll use potions for now to heal Cloud. Um, down the ladder here and then like through these two cars. I think there's only two screens. Green Graveyard, it's not a long area. Try to get all the items. Alright, so this is the guy that should have the striking staff for Garrus. So I'm actually going to try not to kill it straight away. Do a little damage. Hey. Of course, these are still at pretty low levels. Oh, that's annoying. Black teeth in it. To wake up. What are you doing? Stop it. Abby, stop it. Settle down. And of course, he's not going to want to give up that item, is he? It's going to be as annoying as possible. There we go, got it. There we go. Okay, so we did get weapon after all. I was kind of at the point where I was gonna just say, screw it and kill him. Not this breaking staff. But most importantly, it does give Eris 2 extra materia slots over regular staff, and we can't actually use those currently, but when we do get more materia, which hopefully will be soon, we'll be glad to have those extra slots on Eris. And I actually meant to go up the ladder there. Come on. So yeah, this is a very rudimentary puzzle. It's basically you just move the bottom engine and then the top engine, but I think you can actually block yourself off from that high potion if you move the both engines before getting it. was actually hoping Eris would take a couple hits to settle up for healing wind limit break. The Ghost Hand is a consumable item, which I think is a drain effect, if I remember right. Drains are empty. We don't need to do that right now. We just gotta heal up Tifa a little bit. I thought it when they disappear, I assumed magic could still hit them like a regular vanish effect in other Final Fantasy games, but apparently not. Actually looks a lot like the Phantom train from 6, the train engine here. I don't know if that was specifically intentional, but it could have been. Oblique reference, maybe. That's actually a reason to take the cover materia. I hadn't even thought of that aspect. That's actually a reason, and I might do it now. Actually, a reason to take the cover materia off of Cloud because if he's taking hits for other characters, they're not getting their limits to go off unless we're not building up their limit level. So yeah, let's go ahead and ditch that Cloud. And rearrange our items too. The Gravaball's demi attack. There's a lot of like consumable, like one-use items that have a spell effect in this game. Um, yeah, Ghost Hand and Gravaball we've gotten one each of so far. Alright, so now you can go on top of this engine to that like girder over on the left. And I believe that's the last screen for the Green Graveyard on a long area. Debbie really wanted to pull that blanket fence for some reason. I don't know why, but no, not Wedge. Are you alright? He just fell from like 30 stories up. Yeah, come on, Wedge, walk it off. Rub some dirt on it. So they have Eris go and check on Marty at the bar, which is kind of the excuse to get Eris out of the party for the filler scene because Barrett's up top. So when we get to the top and do the boss fight, we get him back. Actually, I just happened to think, did that equip Eris's stuff in here? So let's to be that tough. I'm just gonna put them both on Tifa, I think. She's kind of gonna default to sort of, kind of mage mode while Eris is not in the party. So let's grab a tent. Heal up here. Stock a few potions. Oh, down. And we'll get a couple grenades. That's my P spot. That can't get crushed. I guess I didn't need to buy the tent, and it actually automatically restored HP and MP for us. We'll use it eventually. Get on that ladder. Come on. There we go. Early 3D controls. Maybe I should try to save that. Let it break for the boss, but we have a ways to climb up. So. I bother trying to steal too much from these things because I don't think they have too much good anyway. Oh, come on, we're right there. Barrett should be able to jump into this. Okay, one guy anyway. They didn't really have a good Crap didn't plan ready for Reno there, did they? Yeah, this is a little annoying. All you have to do is attack the pyramid rather than the character inside it. When the name tag not helps. Fortunately, Reno's attacks do build up the limit meter pretty quick. Eh, keep going heavy on him. For that fight. Almost got a level on everybody. Weirdly, he's listening to Beethoven. Apparently, Both Jesus and Beethoven exist in this fantasy world. Yeah, I don't know why they used that, and not, you know, something from Uematsu for that little snippet of classical music. And then, I guess Beethoven was public domain. But, no, the composition's public domain. The recording wouldn't be, right? So, no looking back. Tifa immediately looks back, and as soon as we're allowed to, we're gonna backtrack because there was a Furia in the playground there. And it was yellow command materia, so get what it is. I don't think it lets us go back until we get all four characters, or all three characters back in our party here. We're gonna run away. Trying to fight four of these with just Cloud. But I think you just go a little bit. Yeah, no, Barrett and Tifa rejoin. Yeah, I slipped there, said four. This was actually the first Final Fantasy game that had fewer than four allowed in your active party. Um, They'd all been four characters prior to this, except Final Fantasy IV, which had five, and that's still the largest number of characters you can have in your party at once, unless you count like spin-offs like Tactics. But yeah, otherwise five is still the most if you had in your party at any one time in Final Fantasy IV. Um, and then they went to three for seven and eight. They went back to four for nine, and then it was back to three for 10 with the caveat that you could tag them in and out actively in 10. A nice feature. Whatever else I'll say, like 10 is a game that I actually overall do like, but I do have a lot of issues with it. It's kind of in that category with like Bioshock Infinite for me. Again, a game that overall I do have a positive opinion of, but there are a lot of issues that I have with it too. Um, but anyway, yeah, 10, whatever else on the negative side I might say about 10. The battle system is awesome in 10. I'll never, ever complain about that. But yeah, again, that has three characters, but you could tag them in and out. It's a fun feature, which a few other games over the years have done. Probably most recently, Sea of Stars, which I absolutely adored. Love that game. Um, Another Hell House. You'd think that of any enemy, you'd think a literal house would have stuff to steal in it, right? Yeah, that sense materia that basically just adds like a teeth again to teeth in like Final Fantasy IV. Scan, I guess, and six. It was a magic spell. Now you can do it with a command in this game. So I threw that on Barrett just to give them something extra. Check on the guy that are sick. Still the same. Oh, that kid that we didn't steal the stuff in his drawer. I think it was like 5 gil. I think now he's awake, so he'll actually give us something. I think we visit him again, and I think his house is on this screen. Grab a couple grenades. These aren't bad to have. Gotten a little use out of them already. Actually, let's stop at the Furia shop to have an extra fire or lightning or something. That's fake news. Was an avalanche that dropped the plate. Yeah, nice. Thanks, kid. I think we read the turtle paragraph. Turtle Paradise flyer already, but just in case we didn't the first time. There's six of those throughout the game world. At least two of them are in Midgar, so we'll get them uh, early on. But when you eventually get to if you've read all six of them, you could, to be honest, I don't remember why. You get something anyway. It's actually most importantly, let's get an extra restore. Older angles here. Eris's guard stick we don't really need. Maybe I'll keep the guard stick for sentimental reasons because that was her starting weapon. but uh, that turbo ether is not valuable. Definitely regular ethers are worth more for some reason. Let's actually sell Don Corneo's hyper that he kept behind his bed because I don't even want to think about what he used that for. And we can get more hypers later. I don't think there's any enemies in Midgar that can mess with your state anyway. Go ahead and sell one either extra cash. So yeah, we'll get one extra restore. Get an extra lightning, actually, because there are some machine-based enemies in the Shinra building that are coming up. So it might not be bad to have that for Tifa. So we'll give her that. I'll actually put the restore on Cloud. Um, give him the ice also. Barrett, I usually play pretty much as he's intended and keep him as a heavy hitter, so I don't load him up with materia. He doesn't really He doesn't really need it. So yeah, go to Eris's house, which is I think this way. Yeah. Yeah. A happy couple dancing around the streetlight you may notice are Biggs and Jesse, who apparently were not together during the time we actually knew them. Jesse seemed to kind of have the hots for Cloud, so wonder what happened there. I think I don't have that much interest in actually playing Final Fantasy VII remake slash rebirth slash re whatever, but from what I understand, they did actually go into more detail about Jesse. But again, it's not really a remake to my understanding. It's more like an alternate timeline, sidequel, sequel kind of thing, even though it's called remake. But yeah, I think they did actually use Jesse more in that, extra flavor that really need to be fleshed out, but still interesting. Again, even though Eris obviously can't hear you say this, somehow this answer does still affect whether you get the date with her or Tifa or one of the other characters. Which there's four versions of the date at the Gold Saucer. Barrett's actually one of the options, one of the possible choices. Like if you fail out with Eris, Tifa, and Yafi, you actually do get a date with Barrett, which is actually an entertaining one. So if nothing else, look it up on eBay. It's not eBay, on YouTube one day. um, yeah, I'm sure there's I don't know a specific one, but I'm sure there's a that has like all four versions of the date scene. Limit, walk along the razor's edge. Drop a save here. Can we actually, before I do that, I'm trying to remember, do they actually let you heal for free here? Oh, yeah. Yes. Heal up and then drop a save. I had to wall market into the golden shiny wire of hope, if I recall correctly. We'll get her back, kid, and don't worry, nothing bad will happen to Eris ever again after that. If you know, you know. I guess we could have actually waited until this point to pick up that sense materia in the playground, since we have to go back through that to get to Wall Market anyway. Wow, avoided all the battles there. Hmm, always a weird little screen, just a little elbow in the road. I don't think there's even any random battles on that screen, so I don't really know what the point is. So yeah, I don't think they let you back into the Honeybee Inn. These verbs are blocking the door. There's nothing wrong with a little bump and grind. Yeah, we forgot to go to the materia shop. The whole cross-dressing sequence, so never got the tiara from this guy. Yeah, that's the same stuff. You could get another cover materia if you really wanted it. Dress shop guy says. Right. Adrian has joined us here. Okay. And Tabby's asleep over here now that she, oh, I think I just scared her. Now that she stopped trying to ticket, the blankets. Sorry, Cap. Gary awake. Okay. Check in with Big Bro while we're here. Wonder if that's a clue. Alright, so we want to go to the weapon shop here and buy 3 batteries. Which may actually be the other guy. Sells those. I think it's 100 apiece, so we should have enough. If I remember right. Cool. We'll show up in the key items. You know, yeah, that's all. Our honeybee and stuff. Again, minus the tiara that we forgot to get. Oh, the batteries are regular items. Alright. I don't think you can go back into Don Corneo's mansion either, not that we want to, but I guess we can, actually. Nobody here, though. So Don, want some revenge for dropping us in the sewer. I guess you could go back in this room after that whole sequence. I forgot. I was thinking this closed off, so yeah, there was an item in here that we already got. Am I playing Mahjong in here? I know Mahjong's big in Japan. Yeah, there's actually like a metric ton of Mahjong games for the Famicom or the NES in Japan that obviously were never released in the United States. But like there might be more Mahjong games for that system than like any other genre. I don't know. No, probably not more than platformers overall, but there are a lot of Japan only Mahjong NES games. Some Shiny Wire of Hope. That would actually be a good album title, wouldn't it? I don't think it would work. It's still a little too verbose for a band name, but for an album title, I mean, Fiona Apple could write like an entire essay length poem. That's an album title, right? Golden Shiny Wire of Hope should work. Who climbed up here to paint that giant No Mercy sign anyway? And how come they're not helping us? This first battery right here. I think we have to like go down and around to get to it, but you can see the outlet there on the lower right. Alright, so just walk over that propeller. Now we want to get to this gate here, to the second battery. The third battery, I believe, is actually optional. You just get an item for it, basically. It opens a treasure chest with like an ether in it or something. So we'll climb up here first. I think this is where you use the third battery. Yeah. Yeah, the regular ass either. So, like if you wanted, you could just skip that and keep the third battery in your inventory for the rest of the game. It doesn't do anything else. But I figure we might as well use it and get the ether. It's early on the ethers, like you don't need too many of them, so I'm actually normally good at this, and I know this is a lot of people say this is one of the more annoying parts of the game, trying to land on this bar. But trick is to jump when you first hear the sound. There we go. Second try. That's no battles on this climbing part. So this is technically the part where the cover art, the famous iconic cover art for the game, comes from. So there are indeed two ways in. If you go over to the left, there's a very long, boring climb up a stairway. It's kind of like the Fanatic's Tower in Final Fantasy VI, or if you really want to go there, the Ghostbusters game on NES. It's not that bad because there's no battles, but that does make it that much more boring. Um, Either way you go in, there are some items that you can pick up, but you can technically get all of them. You can like get into the top of the stairway from inside. So we want to keep an eye out for Soldier Third Class. That's the enemy that carries the hard edge, and I doubt it's these guys. Yeah, these are the grenade guns. We can try to steal from them. They probably have grenades. But tranquilizer. Nice. Critical hit on the beat rush, which we probably didn't need to use on that guy. But, oh well. Battle again. So go all the way back here. For one thing, I believe the second Turtle Paradise flyer is on this bulletin board. Three of them. Somebody hit Barrett, so what was limit break to go off? Thank you. First thing, these guys do so much, so little damage that don't really do much of anything to Barrett. Back row. Stop throwing grenades at Tifa, damn it. Yeah, sure. I think this might be the one that you can technically permanently miss. You do get another chance because later in the game you do go back into the Shinra building. I actually want to go back to the first floor to get to the gift shop, but let's do the elevator sequence first. I don't think there's any actual randomness to this. Every time you stop it, it always stops at like a preordained floor. I believe these guys are weak to Bolt. Try stealing first, but guys kind of do the Terminator thing. Exoskeleton, or endoskeleton comes out. And their evasion actually goes up. Their armor comes off. But sometimes they like just run towards you and don't do anything. It's kind of strange. And yes, I know Keith could use a heal sometime soon. Yeah, again, a lot of enemies in the tower are weak to bolt. Getting that extra lightning materia for Tifa was not a bad idea. FIFA did get hyper there. I forgot. I was thinking it was not until after we get out of Midgar that enemies start messing with the hyper slash sadness effects. Which those basically when your character is in fury or hyper, their limit break builds faster, but they also have lower defense, and sadness is like the opposite. Sadness is it limits it lessens how fast your limit break meter grows. So sometimes it's not the worst idea to actually intentionally put your characters in fury to especially when you want to build up, you know, like get their next limit break level. But so yeah, we are gonna go back to floor one just to get to the little shop area. We did at least get the Turtle Paradise Case letter already. But go up the stairs here. You can actually watch this little ad for Finra's cars here, which is kind of neat. Not a necessary FMV sequence, but three-wheeler there. That one's kind of cool. That looks like it'd be fun to drive. Except apparently it has a one-cylinder engine. Read more text there. I like that one though. I'd buy that. Hey, it's got to be more practical than a cyber truck, right? There's actually quite a few places in this game, like in the backgrounds especially, and actually in like the end of that video, where there's actually like untranslated Japanese text. Little strange too. I don't know if that was just like a rush in the production for the US or the North American version or what. Yeah, those two chests in the back, I don't think you can get until the second time, much later in the game they come to the Shinra building. So we probably should get a couple extra Phoenix rounds at this point, right? A couple eye drops just in case we need them. Throw one more in. I actually forgot there's a third level here, assuming we can actually go up to it. We call these schmucks unawares. I guess there's nothing up here except the elevator. And I think on the left, I think that's the motorcycle, but not really a major spoiler. We do actually get to use for the escape sequence from the Shinra building. Fortunately, you don't have to do the battles on the way up on the elevator again. So I think somewhere around here, I believe, is actually the top of the stairway. That was the other alternate way you could get into the building. So we could actually dip down that to get a few extra items if we can find it. Thanks. So yeah, I think this here is the stairway. I'm trying to remember, are there battles in the stairway or not? There's at least one item, maybe more than that. Thought it would have been near the top. Oh yeah, this is very, very familiar for the Ghostbusters NES game. Wait, is the item even here now, or is that not until you come back to the building at the end of the game? That could be the case, actually. As I just ran past something. Oh, there's some place here. That's pretty good. or a game I'll be, or an item rather, that I'll be so worried about using that it'll probably end up sitting in my inventory for the entire game. Thinking that probably is it. I want to say there may be an extra item in this stairway the second time you come back. Could be wrong on that. So you could. I'll leave it up to you to decide if going back for this elixir was worth the effort. Uh, I don't know if it's better or worse. Like again, comparing it to the Fanatic's Tower stairway in 6. I mean, that's one of the hardest parts of the game because there's a lot of battles, and of course in that sequence you can't use your fight command. You can only use magic. But at least it's something to do. Here, there's no enemies, so it's much easier. But I mean, almost feel like in the Ghostbusters, how they felt at when they were climbing the stairs in the Ghostbusters movie by the end. Gotta be close to the bottom by now. Uh, I'm gonna say it, not worth it for the elixir. Alright, this is the bottom. And again, being this far down, we may as well just go back in the front entrance and the elevator again. Good to have a sense of urgency for the proceedings here. I'm sure Eris is fine. We'll drop a save. I'm gonna actually tranquilize Tifa too. Alright, one more time. There's the truck that's also used in the escape sequence. Oh, so close on Cloud and Tifa's levels. Alright, now we'll actually start going up the building. Most floors have like a gimmick to them. And you have to get the key card, obviously, for each next floor. So this floor, you just have to like sneak across. And then it helps the other two characters sneak across as well. Nah, basically, if you get caught, you just you have to fight a pincer attack battle, and then it moves you back to the beginning of this floor. Yeah, that would level up on both Cloud and Tifa at least. Of course, on the right side, the guards are a little faster. Alright, fire it across. Oh, that was alright. There we go. Did I say otherwise? I think floor 61 is actually optional. Oh, sure, maybe you could teach me some things. This isn't exactly what I had in mind. Are we gonna make out, or do you just want to play games? Alright, let's just do the same conversation, whichever side you're on. So yeah, there's on that floor. But I don't even need the key card for the next one. Hmm. That's how you get the card. There we go. Alright, so now let's get out the door here. Alright, so this is actually a pretty good puzzle here. Um, each of these rooms is a different division of the Shinra library. There's one book in each that doesn't match the theme of that room, and basically, we'll go in here. Which, this again, sorry. Peace preservation and weapon research. Okay, so that's the theme for this room. I think this just tells you what it is. Sorry, so there's like the number at the beginning of the title of each. That tells you if it's the book that is not supposed to be in that room. It tells you what letter is part of the clue. So that's how you find the four letters of the password the mayor's looking for, and then you have to like descramble them once you get all four. All right, so this seems to be the book that doesn't fit this room, and it's the number two, so that's the A in Mako. It's the second letter in the title. So we have A. Base research. So that was probably the book that wasn't fit. Yeah. All right. So new plans for urban planning. So I have O, 10th letter. So OA. And this also changes every time you play the game. Like there's a bunch of possible answers. Like he gives you a list of passwords to pick from, and I believe it can randomly be any of the possible choices. Scientific research, probably that. Yeah. Or K. So OAK. Sure. The city map. Construction. Base program. Okay. Oh, 3, 4, 5, 6. 15M. So MOAK. Mako. It's gonna be Mako. It's the password. And I know it's supposed to be Mako. I think that's how they pronounce it anytime that you can hear it, but in my head it was always Mako, so it still is. Alright. Yeah, we'll do Mako. Ah, got it. So that's a very good puzzle, I think. That's really an enjoyable one to figure out. I always thought. And again, it's nice that it is randomized, so every time you play the game it'll be a different answer. Got the key card and the special prize. Elemental materia. So when we get poison, At some point, we'll get a poison materia, and we'll put that in the elemental in Cloud's weapon. Need to check the player's guide and see, it's kind of sort of cheating, but this is what we did back in the day. We youngins. I don't think we've missed it yet. I believe you do get a poison materia on the way up this tower. Yeah, that's still coming up. So when we do get poison, we'll put that with elemental on Cloud's weapon, and that'll give him a chance to poison enemies. Alright, so this is a door puzzle, obviously. You're only allowed to open 3 doors. Trying to remember which ones. It kind of reminds me of like a reverse lock and chase. Lock and chase on Intellivision was like a Pac-Man clone, but the twist to it was that you could lock doors behind you. So instead of ghosts, you were a robber. So instead of ghosts, it was cops that were chasing you, 4 cops. They acted like Pac-Man ghosts, but the twist was the maze had like doors, like there were spaces that you could close doors in the maze to temporarily block the cops. There we go. E-coupon. Alright, turn them in. No, I don't. That was the wrong choice. Coupon chain. Okay, so the all materia we want to pair with, I think, a cure. We'll do that on Lisa here. Yeah, we'll keep lightning on her for now. Star Pendant protects from poison. We'll put that on Tika too, just for now, since she's acting as our maid. And when the 4 slots has 4 non-connected spaces, so we'll actually save that for Eris when we get her back. Yeah, let's throw fire on Barret, why not? I think this floor has an in on it. Let me just make sure we didn't skip a floor. Yeah. Yeah, that either it doesn't do anything, or that drink you can buy, it might just refill your health and MP, but you can do that for free, literally in the next room. So no point in that. The locker room here has a few hidden items. You kind of search all the lockers. It's down. It always looks like a potion in the top right. I think every time I play this, I make the same mistake of trying to pick that up, but it's actually just part of the scenery. So that's actually I think that's the top weapon for Kachi. It won't let us pick it up now, but when we come back to the Shinra building, we want to get that. Again, I think it's the ultimate weapon for a character we haven't met yet and probably won't meet in this room. Alright, that restored us. Save point too. Alright, so this is another sort of puzzle. This one's a little bit of a no-brainer, though. It just kind of opens another chest, and you have to find which one it is. At this point, I will actually save Barrett's limit break for the next battle. No point in wasting the limit break on this thing either. The bolt spell will take this down, most likely. Almost. Good. Hyper on Cloud. Hopefully is directing us to the bathroom. Get to the whole scene. Bathroom scene. A freak, aren't you, Hojo? Be inconspicuous. So, I'll flush on the way out. That was certainly worthwhile. Thank you for that. There are any items on this floor? Alright, so this is the top as far as where we're actually going at this point. To see what happens if you try to go up. I know you can't at this point, but spots you in the stairwell for these next two floors. Yeah. Alright. Going on in here. You to even talk to us. little cell area doesn't come up till the story progresses very soon. The soldier first classes show up. Maybe here. This thing apparently steal carbon bangles from soldier. Don't want to give that up, does he? Okay, two more tries. One more try. Alright, I found the miss. I would say the hard edge is a bigger priority to get anyway. Oh, got one on the first try on that one. Okay, here we go. Chance to get the hard edge. Nice, first try. We only need one of those. Okay. Nice critical hit on Tifa's rush move here. Again, we only need one, but if I could steal another one to sell, that wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. That's annoying. Uh, just to be as annoying as possible. Not them. You, not them. You, not you. Them is what I meant to say, Danny. How are you? Got our next break. Alright, so let's equip stuff here. The carbon dangle gives a furious slot. Hello. Huh. I'll actually put that on Tifa, and I'll actually give her back the fire that we put on Barrett. Cloud. We'll put him new sword, the hard edge. So this is going to be good for a while. He's going to, like, the next couple of weapons. the cloud can get are not as good as this one. So that's good enough. All right, so now we can carry on. It's actually a little. I never thought about it, but this is a little similar here to the part of six when Sabin and Shadow are sneaking into the Imperial base and they keep hiding behind the crates. Well, like Kefka and General Leo were talking. Kind of the same concept with this part where you're following Hojo. Mwah. Pause, let's pause. Ooh, ooh, ooh. You okay? Don't fall. Yeah, I'd probably freak out too. Where's his fucking head? This whole thing's stupid. Alright, so we do find out what the deal with that guy is. Red animal there. There's our poison Furia. Alright, so let's put that on Cloud. The elemental. Put lightning over here. Uh, I'll leave it with just the 3 attack. Or the 2 attack and the restore materials on him. Top of strength too much more. Pickles. Incredible amount here. I mean, stick your snout in my ear here. Are you going to kill me? I don't think you should. This is what you had in mind for the breeding thing? What kind of a sick freak are you? That's what you deserve. red here will be able to do some physical damage. And he has less to re-equip. But we do later find out Red 13's actual name. In fact, I usually actually name him that right away. I won't on this playthrough, but he actually starts with Sense and Fire, with an wall on the fire. Was I was thinking that thing was weak to fire, it actually heals it. Or weak to poison, I mean. I thought it was weak to poison. Oh, and that's... Yeah, Cloud do physical attacks on it if it absorbs poison. Elemental materia on a sword. So he's just going to be limited to using Bolt here. Now let's sense what his attack strengths and weaknesses are. Got him. Certainly gotten all lovey all of a sudden. Alright, sorry. Just like, distracted by my phone for a second there. So, oh, right. Yeah, we actually don't get far here. Dude, it's the agent from Hitman. Game over, man. Game over. Shoot. Did I forget the enemy skill materia? Go get that. I think we might still be there. But not exactly doing a bang up job of that so far, Cloud. Oh, conversation. Sorry about that. But yeah, this was an important conversation there anyway. But still wanted to see all of them. Huh? But Barrett and Red. How did Chris feel? I know I did that. But, all right, I think we can get enemy skill materia. This is a cool enemy. The brain in a jar. It's poison. Decent to refuse is refuse. Okay, good. That's important to get. So yeah, I was really hoping we'd still be able to pick that up without restarting the game. So I'm actually going to put that on cloud and probably leave it there for pretty much the rest of the game. So let me just get back down and use the save point now. Sure. all these enemies seem to absorb poison right after I put that materia on Cloud. Have a Jurassic Park thing going with the claw marks on the walls. Big point there too. Oh shit! Run. Yeah, it's really all just about his mommy issues. Classic Nepo baby. Feel like this should be the cue for the Shane McMahon "Here Comes the Money" theme song. Yeah, I'm guessing this whole roster of job titles they came up with, I'm guessing that all sounded more impressive in their heads before they said it. Rather be loved or feared. Easy, both. I want people to be afraid of how much they love me. Alright, so we want to equip these now. Oh, right, it's use the elevator, I think. There we go. There's going to be a boss fight with these three, and then Cloud will have a boss fight one-on-one with Rufus. Bolt on Earth. Red 13. Tabby, your breath is. Tabby just looked straight on. Tabby's like just off camera, but she's laying on my lap. She just looked straight up at me one, and your breath is so terrible. Like a carnal house for fish. You weigh 7 pounds. How could somebody so small have such bad breath? Not over yet. There's a second phase for this fight. That flying thingy. Pretty much the same strategy as the first one. So that's not too hard to find. Again, the one thing I should have done differently was just putting a lightning on a red 13 before it started. Alright, so we equip everybody again. Fire his materia back. And actually, this time, we're actually going to want poison on him. I'll give it an all. You know? Lightning first. That should be a good setup for now. Hey, Grok, is Sephiroth an ancient? So even though this is one-on-one, it's not too difficult. The main annoyance is the barriers. But and the fact that you only have one character on your side, but their attacks do build up your limit here pretty quick. And actually, one got taken out by Kyle pretty quick. Eventually, the barrier will run out. Kyle Rufus himself too. You could get it with the regular attacks with the poison sword, but that's actually probably going to do more damage than physical attacks at this point. Test that theory. Oh yeah. Oh well, yeah, especially with the barrier up. Gotta limit again. Yeah, that was easy. The guard source. The sources are basically like the various tabs in Chrono Trigger. They permanently resist that. Oh, okay. I don't want to fight those with just Cloud. Just to be on the safe side, let's save here. So of course, Cloud has to look as cool as possible here. So we have a little motorcycle mini game. And this is all just a big tease because they don't let you keep the motorcycle on the truck. I don't know why they don't, like, in terms of story justification. Should be able to keep them. But alas. Alright, so before we do this, want to set our party up. Form party. There's a boss fight at the end of this, and it's weak to lightning again, so uh, we don't have three lightnings, so I think go ahead and put Barrett back in as my third, and then we actually want to swap the Rose because it's a back attack, the boss fight. So everybody's unequipped except Cloud. But the talisman that boosts spirit, which is basically translates, I believe, to magic defense. And Eris has very little magic defense, so I'll get for that talisman. Cloud the Star Pendant. I don't think he really needs it, but for now, we'll protect Fest on Barrett. Alright, so let's do this mini game. This is one of several mini games that you can actually replay later in the game at the Gold Saucer. There's like an arcade cabinet that you can play this same thing. The red bikes are tougher to take down, but they also tend to try to distract you. Like one will ride ahead and then another one will take hits at the truck. A little bit of a road rash kind of thing going on. It doesn't control all that well, but I think that's actually probably by intent. The downside is that any damage that characters take during this actually will carry over to the boss fight. So we want to be watching, especially Eris and Barrett's health, because we have them set up as our party for the boss. Some of these like automatic camera changes do kind of work against you too. Alright, I think this is now the boss chasing us, which you can't fight. You can wait for this to play out. Well, I guess that's the justification for not keeping the bike and the truck, is they just couldn't get them down off this overpass. It's under construction highway, I guess. Alright, so again, good idea to switch the rows for your characters before, like at the beginning, before the mini game, because the back attack. So, but you don't have to waste your turn changing the rows, or just taking more damage on like Eris if she's up front. This guy takes big damage from lightning. Actually, surprised we haven't gotten Barrett's second limit break yet. We might after this battle. I'm kind of holding off on healing for Eris to take another hit and set off her healing wind. Or at this rate, the boss battle to just end. And this should set off Eris's limits. But no, we're not. Star Pendant. Alright, so we're done with Midgar. There's just a cutscene here. So yeah, again, I guess that's the justification that we just hit the end of the road and we can't get the vehicles down from here. But it was kind of a tease to, let us play with the bike and the trucks for the mini game and then not actually keep them. And they like kind of promoted that a lot, as I recall. Like I remember a lot of the ads and stuff made sure to feature Cloud on the motorcycle, and you barely get to use it in the game. Looking at the clock, I should probably call it soon. So we'll pick up with Calm Town next time. I do just want to see, since we have the enemy skill, there is an enemy skill that we want to get as soon as possible, just outside of Midgar here. So we'll see if we can get that. Oh, Red, you're gonna be here for the long haul. All right, everyone, let's mosey. So I'll actually keep for now. I'll just keep it since we have equipped. Oh, we got healed up anyway. That's nice. And Eris has her limit break ready to go for when we need it. Right, so we'll fix the rows here. I'll split it. Alright. You can actually change the view of the world map. You can do like a kind of over-the-shoulder view or a top-down view by pushing R2, L2, L2 or R2. But yeah, this like barren area outside of Midgar. There's an enemy here that is not this one. There's an enemy that has an enemy skill that we want to get. Oh, and actually, if we had Tifa, we can switch her back in after we go to Tom. But there is actually, I think, another enemy that has a weapon for Barret. We probably want to try to steal. Hey, yeah. But, I mean, I could just steal on Cloud for now, I guess. But yeah, in fact, maybe I'll go ahead and do that. So you run into that enemy. Called Custom Sweeper. Might actually be the same enemy that has the enemy skill that we want. Not these. We're almost done. Get down. Come on. Alright, so this is the one that has the enemy skill. On this thing. Yeah, this is actually the same one that has the weapon for Barret, so feel that. That's the enemy skill that it just used. Learn that. And we got the weapon. Nice. Successful turn. So, and in this game, you actually don't have to win the battle before you can use a new enemy skill, which is blue magic. Enemy skill magic. You can use it right away after you learn it. Would you get down? Come on. Alright, so the atomic scissors for Barret is actually one of a handful of weapons he has that is not long range. So we'll actually bump him into the front row for a little while, but soon, very soon, we'll actually get a long range materia that will make that a moot point, so we can put him in the back row if he's equipped with that. Um, but for now, we'll put him in the front row. And you can see how much of an advanced weapon this is. His attack power goes from 17 to 32 with the atomic scissors. It's similar to Cloud with the hard edge over the Buster Sword. So, yeah, and actually, I did want to. I was gonna put a. Actually, Cloud doesn't feel that. We got the atomic scissors. That's all we were gonna use that for. So, okay, I'm gonna put Barrett in the front for now. Oh, and actually, good, but yeah, let's give Eris the 4 slots. Hey, do not you two on the posters. I don't think I have any text, do I? No. Oh well, it's not that important. So let's like walk up to Calm Town and save there, and that's pretty much where we are anyway. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna call it there. I was hoping to get a little further, but the Midgar part does take a long time. So at any rate, successful run. And he's getting a little rambunctious, so I think it's time to call it quits. So, and it's, almost at the 3 hour mark anyway, as far as the video time goes. So, yeah, we'll call it for now. So, just double save just for clarity's sake. Alright, so that's part 2 of Final Fantasy VII. We'll pick up with part 3 next time, which begins with a long flashback. Then we will make our way by Chocobo across the Midgar Zolan swamp through the Mithril Mine, past Fort Condor. We might actually do the first battle there, which I usually don't bother with the minigame there. I just let the enemies advance till they attack and just do a regular battle. Um, but we'll do that. We'll try to get Yuffie. We'll try to get one extra character next time. I don't know if we'll get as far as the Gold Celeste. We might. So we might get Kachi as well. Um, but yeah, we'll definitely try to get Yuffie on the way. But yeah, that's where we are. So join me soon for part 3 of Final Fantasy VII. Hit like, hit subscribe, and we will see you then.